eating is an agricultural act, said Veterinary once, very famously. I think as urban consumers, we all go very close to agriculture only in the form of eating. He didn't say it in that context, but that's the closest that we go near agriculture. Sadly, that's precisely why we have not understood food, we have not understood agriculture enough, we have not understood safe food. How many of us can claim we know what is the food that we eat? How safe is that? Hardly any of us. Basically because we have gone so far away. If I had to define it in one word, the status of us, our relation to food and agriculture, it would be apathy. We are so far away alienated from food and agriculture that in such a solid state, that's why we have been led into a lot of problems. Have you ever wondered why there are so much of rampant diseases all around? It could be the lifestyle diseases like diabetes, it could be blood pressure, it could be coronary heart diseases, or it could be even the most dreadful cancer. Have you ever wondered why there is such an increase? A couple of decades back, if I had asked in a gathering like this, do you know anybody with cancer in your inner circle? One or two would have raised their hands. Today, I'm very sure each of us can point to 3 people at least around us, within our neighborhood, within our community, within our relatives, it could be our friends, colleagues, who are afflicted with cancer. And many times, or at least before, cancer was always associated with some vices, some substance abuse. It could be drugs, it could be smoking, it could be drinking, it could be something else, a vice. Today, there are a lot of them. There are housewives who have not probably crossed out of the bedroom and the kitchen of their house, who have not gone out, meaning the opportunity to do anything wrong, even radiation or something else is so narrowed down, so less, and still afflicted with cancer. Have you ever wondered why? The common factor could only be food, I would think. So would all of us. Food could be the only factor that could be a deciding factor for a lot of the diseases around us. So we will try to understand food, how food is produced. So we will go to production of food, processing of food, and food to understand how safe is our food for us to understand. Why should we understand whether our food is safe? As I said, the common factor there has been food for most of the diseases and most of the problems that have been confounding us. It could also be social, it could also be environmental, it could be pollution, it could be contamination, it could be diseases, it could be economical. Every way it comes to a bottom line of food. So we should basically understand food. Let us go into production. As I said, production. What you grow comes to your plate, and what you spray on it comes to your plate too. Right? So if you were to spray anything that is chemical, anything that is harmful, anything that is well, it is going to come back to your plate. It's there all over us, into our blood, into our tissues, into our tea, coffee, cold drink, water, air, everywhere. We should really remember that. Do you have an idea where these signs are from? Full body suit, gloves required in this area, respirator required in this area, chemicals without production. These are on the covers or on the rooms where pesticides are stored. Chemicals and pesticides used for growing food for us. No exaggeration, these are all taken, cut paste from those areas. So this is what is on the covers of various pesticides and chemicals that are used for growing our food. Pesticides are poison, period. There is no more explanation required. Sadly, 0.1% of the pesticide what is sprayed is what reaches the target, that is the pest. The remaining comes into air, water, into our food, everywhere. Into our food. Does it really come into our food? How does it come? Is washing enough? Does the Hema trick help? There is this famous ad of a celebrity Hema who comes and says she can sell a machine in which you wash all this. The residual pesticides are not just superficial. There is something called the systemic. There is something called which will come into the system. There is the half-life of the pesticide which is there for so many years in the environment in many ways. They manifest themselves in many ways. So there is a lot more to the pesticides that come into our food and into our body in many ways, and it's just not superficial. You just can't wash them off so easily. Pesticides, basically, another thing that comes to mind is, pesticide is a way to end life. Your intention was to end the life of the pest. It has now come to end the life of a human in many ways. So in India, basically, there are a lot of emotional issues, family fight, love failure, exam failure. People resort to pesticide bottle, 10, 100 grams, 50 grams. They just buy it, gulp it, and they die. That's, seriously, it ends life, period. But in what concoction, in what percentage do we ingest, do we get them, otherwise in our life is very important. That's what is happening. So it's just killing us slowly. It is poison. Let's understand that. There is no two ways about it. Most suicides today, pesticide sprays, which when used, when it's in the air, it induces a suicidal tendency for people who are using it and spraying it. So there are studies which show that pesticide in every form, as I told you, even in the production plant, wherever it is being produced, is not free of hazard. We all remember Bhopal gas tragedy, 27 years back, 26 years back, 89, where it was a Union Carbide factory in Bhopal, where they were manufacturing a pesticide, which is a very commonly used foliage spray. It was basically Sevin, the brand name was Sevin, it's carbaryl, which was used, and it was leak. From that factory there was a leak, and 25, 26 years in, we are still struggling with that. There is the toxic waste still remaining there, that is still affecting the environment, still affecting people. There are birth deformities even today. So the pesticide residues are there everywhere in our food, and we have to be really careful. The chemicals that can really bother us, they are hazardous, there are no two ways, and it is held in in fresh water, in bottled water, in soft drinks. There is a when it's in the umbilical cord when it was tested, it was there. In the breast milk of the mother, endosulfan was tested. So these really manifest themselves into every area possible, and they come into our food in every possible way. There has to be a lot more care that we can take. NIN in Hyderabad, National Institute of Nutrition in Hyderabad, when they tested, bought the vegetables and fruits from the market and then tested them for the residual pesticides. All these pesticides, most of them have been documented to have very hazardous and ill effects. Monoprotophos has been banned, chlorpyrifos, malathion, each one of them have their own defined ill effect on our bodies. There are various studies that are even Delhi High Court, when it took a suo motu case and asked for the samples to be tested, there were a lot of banned pesticides found. So these are two words that you will have read. These are two phenomena, bioaccumulation and biomagnification, which basically is important because that's what we can't just fool ourselves saying we will wash it with water, hot water, salt water, potassium permanganate, heavy water, nothing will help us. When we need, when bioaccumulation is basically within the system where the toxicity multiplies itself, its absorption is higher. That's about bioaccumulation, which is within an organism. If it is biomagnification, basically it is across the food cycle. Let us say there was something sprayed, there is the water board, it goes along with the soil and the water runoff goes into your water body, a fish ingests it, the fish is eaten by a bird is eaten by an animal, and man, the super being, on the top of the food cycle, happily sitting there is a carnivore eating that animal, there is a multiplication effect. That's biomagnification across the food cycle. You are eating a fish, you get it multiplied by x. If you are eating a bird, multiply it by 2x, 3x, and 4x. That's what it is. The health implications have been very clearly documented in many cases, many times over, so we will not get into it very deeply, but please be. There have been concrete proof about these pesticides and chemicals affecting people in various ways in your health. Have you heard of Cancer Express? Have you heard of Punjab? Punjab is the cancer capital of India, for that matter. They set the record straight. If you have to think of agriculture, if you have to think of a farmer, a prosperous farmer, prosperous farm, a Sardarji comes to our mind who is going on a tractor, and that's all long back, it's history now. Punjab basically is really in a lot of problems. That's the cancer capital of India. There's a train that goes from Malwa region, Batinda to Bikaner. In Bikaner there is a free treatment for cancer. There is a free treatment hospital. The train is full of cancer patients going from Malwa region to Bikaner to get treated. This train is apparently called the Cancer Express. They have a real name for the railways, but people call it the Cancer Express. That's the status of Punjab, which is predominantly growing food for whole of India. Our wheat and rice bowl of India, which is now. Then finally, when you talk of safe food, we can't not touch GMOs, genetically modified organisms, genetically modified food and crop. Well, this is a bigger danger that would need another TED talk by itself. I'll just quickly go through. There are health impacts. It's even worse than the pesticides and chemicals. It is basically a living technology that you unleash into the atmosphere, so it's going to be irreversible. It's basically uncontrollable also over a period of time. It's basically another treadmill technology. You just jump into it, you can never jump out of it. We have a serious problem. A GMO is a no-no if we have to think of safe food, which is very, very important. That much you may have to have in mind. Now, this is about the production of the food, where we have abused, we have indiscriminately used a lot of chemicals, and we have been practicing technology which was mindlessly foisted onto our farmers, which basically did not even think of what would be the long-term effects of the chemical on the farmer, on the farmer's economy, on the ecology, environment, health. We have not thought about it. That's where we are today. Food, as we understand, is not produced in the garden anymore from the farms and just coming in the table. There is a lot more that's happening in between. There is a $3.2 trillion industry called the food processing, which kills food, which nurtures on killing food and giving you an unhealthy food and parallelly giving you diseases, so that there is another industry that can thrive called the super specialty hospitals or the health industry. So we are being fed by an industry which doesn't care about our health, but which cares about your ill health. Food processing is an industry, 3.2 trillion, as I told you. The food processing, do we understand what is food processing? Okay, let us talk of tea, let us talk of sugar, sugar cane. We know what is the color of a sugar cane juice, sugar cane's color, sugar cane juice color, and the sweetener that came from sugar cane was jaggery. That's what was used for ages. And then suddenly came the Mr. Killer, sugar. So for something as brown as that, and as alkaline as that, and that's a low glycemic index, by the way. A sugar patient can drink a sugar cane juice, but you can't have this. This is 99.99% calories, 99.99% carbohydrate, glucose, which will just that's a low glycemic index where it pumps glucose slowly into your body. That's jaggery. Jaggery is alkaline. It aids digestion. It has iron, it has thiamine, it has niacin, it has micronutrients, it has everything. What you do is kill all of those, life in that, nutrition in that, because I need shelf life. So refine it, use bone char, I can use sulfur, I can use bleach, I can use a lot of chemicals, I want it in crystal, I want it white. That's another obsession we all have. Things have to be white for us, right? It has to be maida, white. It has to be rice, has to be polished and white. That's enough. Oil is white. Oil. How can an oil be colorless and odorless? Unless it was processed for somebody else's. Oil, as per Ayurveda, till oil, gingerly oil, sesame oil is an antidote for heart ailments. But what do we do today? We have imposed an oil which is called refined. Refined by definition means there have been 6 to 10 chemicals added into them. The extraction is a process where there are a lot of chemicals used. Refining is a process where there is a lot of chemicals used. Refining is definitely not good for us, it's good for the industry. No, you would never see an advertisement which says carrot is good for your eyes, tomatoes are good for you, it's an anti-carcinogen. Strawberry milkshake, how many of you like it? I'm sure all of you, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, right. How many ingredients do you think would we need to make a strawberry milkshake? 4. That is if your grandmother made it. If the industry makes it, that's the case with any of your cold drinks. I mean, we are in times where we proudly say what to say. This is no fruit juice or fruit pulp, only artificial flavor. We are so happy about it. And then there is this detergent, real lemon inside. So this was famously explained by Michael Pollan, the natural raspberry flavor. This is a very cliche thing in the food industry. So you really have to go closer to understand what is there in my food, what makes my milkshake, what is coming into my artificial and natural raspberry flavor. That's when you talk of food processing, mind you, you will have to really understand what exactly is happening everywhere. Oil, refined oil is no good for sure. Wholesome oil always had nutrients, it is required for us. It is the industry which will come and decide which is polyunsaturated, saturated oil. For 2 years they will say saturated oil is bad. 2 years later some other scientist will come and say something and then say polyunsaturated is better. This will keep changing to the tunes of the industry. Industry will decide what to throw, what to advertise. So you need to understand what is good for you. And many times we have not found in the recent years a lot of traditional practices, the food as defined and how it was grown and how it was done by our grandfathers are far better than what the industry is thrusting on us. Advertisement is not a small industry either. We need to check what are the ingredients. These are deciding what we eat, which is not a fair thing. Some television commercial should not be deciding what we eat. You should know what you are eating. That is very, very basic and essential for us to understand food. And then as a next step, go into what is safe food. Safe food comes from our opening of eyes and ears, our understanding of what is food, our understanding of what was food till a few years back. Eat safe, go safe, live safe, support organic, support sustainable agriculture. Thank you.